All right, guys, so we're back onto the Edelbrocks and we're going to start porting and cleaning all those areas up that we talked about in the previous video. Let's go. Now, when looking at the small blockheads, especially this sort of stuff, you can't treat all these exhausts the same. If we look at the port center line to port window on the end cylinders, they actually line up to the port window. So when doing the bowl, you can straight shot both walls, no problem, and you can, shape the bowl and shoot it to the window. But the problem comes with the Siamese cylinders in the middle, Siamese ports, that now if we have a look, you can see that's nowhere near port center. So the guide isn't in the middle of the window. So the port's actually going like that, and we need to port it that way, meaning this side of the bowl we don't want straight. We don't want to drop that straight in. And this side of the bowl, we actually want to kick in slightly. Same with that one. We want to kick the bowl that way and kick the bowl. And opposite in this cylinder because it goes that way. So that's something I stumbled on many years ago and found people were just throating these square. And it was costing, obviously, velocity and horsepower. So rather than just bore it out, a 78 or 72 or whatever they're throating it with, even the cutters they use in these are a bit ordinary. But we actually want to undercut that seat so it actually turns under the seat. And we want this wall to start turning the air earlier because that's where we're going to head. Remember, the seat and the bowl are going to direct it, and then also the CSA. So if this is already going that way, which you can see in the castings, and we drop this straight down, then the CSA, half inch or an inch into the bowl is a lot bigger than the CSA in these. So now we have two different velocities in our exhaust ports, which we don't want because they're going to peak at different periods, which means now our volumetric efficiency in these two cylinders isn't going to be matched. So one will peak before the other one. So one will phase in and out, then the next one will phase in and out. So the bigger bowl will come in later. Its scavenging mechanisms will be pushed up the RPM range, right? So there's all little things we want to look at. But yeah, just make sure you're looking at where the port is heading because that's going to dictate how you port them. All right. So we're going to do the bowls, and then we're going to flip it over and do the short turn, and then we're going to go in from the window and just tidy this sort of stuff up. We're not going crazy with these guys. As I said, this should take you all of 5 minutes a bowl. Like, you don't need to put a lot of work in. All we're doing is just blending the cast out, tidying up all the hard edges, and just making it a little bit more seamless so it actually flows. All right, so now we're on the window side. We're just going to fix this up because that's a horrible transition. We're just going to blend this section here, just knock the casting flash off. We're not modeling the guide or anything like that. We're just going to tidy the window up. We're not making it any bigger. We just want to improve that transition from the cast to the where the CNC has done the window. All right, that's all we want. So we've just tidied it up to the window. So we have a nice transition to the window now. We still got to do the floor, but we'll come back to that. We'll go and do all the roofs and then we'll flip it over. Now again, just refreshing, remembering that these come in. So these walls aren't going to be straight like the other one we just did. This wall tapers in and this one tapers away. So it undercuts into that bowl, and this one goes to the bowl because this is a lot narrower than the valve centers on the other side of the head. So let me get you straight on and you might see what I mean. Come out a little bit. All right, so we have that wall there, that wall there, that wall there, that wall there. Okay, so we want to shape them. You can turn them to the window so the window is straight, but as it goes in, it's got to roll. Same as this side. As it goes in, it rolls from the edge. So there's not much we can do on this side. But all right, let's do it. All right, so time for the floor. We just got to fix this step so it drops straight off. We've got to blend that just from the top of the bowl there. I can pretty much reach there. Again, we're not going crazy, but just these sharp edges we're going to lose. I'm going to tidy up the casting a little bit, and that's it. Done. Perfect. That's all it needs. All we're doing is tidying. We're not reshaping this. So you get a lot of people ask, oh, how do you know the short turn's right? If you just radius it, don't lay it back, don't change the shape, just improve the shape, it's only going to get better. So yeah, we'll go on to the next ones. Remember, these two do have a curve in them, so we're going to be shooting each way a little bit, all right? I'll get the light under it. We'll do one and then the next. So this wall is going to go back this way a little bit more, and this wall is going to turn into the seat, all right? So we don't want to dig this out here. Remember to get in there and feel it. Feeling will tell you everything. It'll tell you far more than your eye can ever tell you. That doesn't feel too bad at all. All right, this will be the last one, and that's pretty much the exhaust done. As I said, we're not going crazy with this. We're not shaping the guides. All we're doing is basically decasting, fixing all these horrible areas. That's a major, like that's just a flat step, and then in it goes like that. So what I do is find in between those two angles and just take that down slowly and then start blending it each way, staying off the window until I have the shape. Once I feel it and it feels like it, then we'll come to the window and finish it off. All right, that's all the exhaust done. As you can see, I just went over until that ridge disappeared, and it feels like a nice smooth transition to the window, and it does now. That's all we need. There is a cast mark in there, but it's too deep. We don't want to chase that. You got to know when enough is enough. So definitely don't chase it. The core shift actually goes that way on this, so I've actually left a little bit of a high on this side, so the port just to keep that cross-sectional area the same. But yeah, I could flatten this out, but as I said, the port tends to do a little bend, so I'll just go with it and keep the cross-sectional area on size. All right, time for the intakes. Not go crazy, guys. You can see I'm just coming up onto the seat, so I'm bringing that up onto the seat carefully, blending that. There was a lump in it, so we've just knocked the lump out of there and made the bowl basically almost the size of the throat or that bottom angle. So we're just blending that in, and there's a horrible transition in here that we're just tidying up as well, a big lump, and then comes back in. So we're making that a nice shot into the side of the short turn there. Yeah, as I said, we're not going crazy, we're just tidying it up. All right, we'll move on to the next lot, and then we'll flip it over, we'll do the short turn, and then we'll work from the window side in. Alright, so we flipped it over and we're going to do the short turn. Now we don't want to reshape this, it has a good shape, but what we want to do is just take the hard edges out of the corners. This one isn't too bad, but the one next to it is really bad. I'll show you that before we start. So we're just going to tickle that up and just shape the radius slightly. This one doesn't need a lot of work at all. I could almost just leave this one, but probably just here needs a little bit of work. Alright, this one's a problem child. So up in this corner here, right here, we've got a hard line. Let me focus it. We've got a hard line there. So we're just going to blend that across. You see it ridges across there. So we're going to blend that into here and then just roll it over the short turn slightly. And same this side. It's a little bit, how do you do? Same thing, it's got a little ridge there. I'm just going to tidy that up. Alright, so we're at the window side now, and as you can see we've got a bit of work here. We've got to fix all these horrible sharp edges here, up in here, up in there. So we're just going to tidy it up. We've got to go in with a small cutter because it's a very small radius, but be careful with the small cutter, they'll want to trench. So you've got to work extra hard to get it flat. So yeah, just take your time, work the edges first and then go to a big cutter if you like, but yeah, I'm going to do it all with this one, but yeah, just got to be really, really careful. Alright, we'll do this one in real time so you can actually see how long we're spending. This is probably one of the worst ones. So we'll just see how long it takes.
Again, we're not going crazy with it. We're just softening those edges and making it transition in a little bit better. Once I get this corner sorted, I'll come down and do the length of that a little better. But this is not too bad. That corner that was sharp edged, I've washed most of that out now. You can see what we had to contend with. That was it. So that's not too bad. So we'll go through, finish the last one, then we'll flip it over and do the floor. Alright, so same thing now, we've got it on the floor, and yeah, these really hard areas there, we've got to fix that, focus, same here, drops in, so we're just going to blend all that, and then come up here and tidy up this wall as well. Yeah, alright, let's do it. All right, guys, so we've got the heads all ported. I've just quickly cleaned the guide so I can actually show you a little seat trick to show you how good the seat actually is. So I'm going to do that for you now, demo it on these two, just to show you how you can tell really quickly if we've got a concentric seat or we haven't. All right, you can see how this valve just sits every time it drops, straight on the seat. Now we'll look at this one. So the double bounce, it tells me that the valve's coming down and bouncing, means the seat isn't concentric to the valve itself. That's where you're getting that double bounce. And this one just goes home. All right, so that's a really good indicator. Now, I've blued this one. The N one here was doing the same. I'll bring it around to the camera. All right, so we've bearing blued this, and now we can have a look. So let's have a squeezy. So we've got a nice seat there. Still got a seat, and no seat. And back to the seat. So as you can see, it's not actually concentric, and this is really common for these types of cheaper heads that don't have good seats in them. I tested all these, and I think one seat was a pass. So we're going to go through and actually just lap the valves. Again, if this was a more serious engine, I'd want to recut the seats because lapping isn't as good as a fresh cut seat. You'll see that lapping paste will dull the seat slightly. That means we've actually reduced the RA, so we have more peaks and lows. So the seats generally don't last as long if you lap them versus if you cut them properly and get a really fine finish on them. So anyway, that's what we're dealing with. So now we'll go through and lap them. Okay, so you can see we have a good mark all the way around the valve. That means the valve's concentric and it's actually the seat. We have a good little shiny area from the margin up. So the seat's towards the bottom, but it's not catching the edge. That's very, very important. Otherwise, you'll just eat the seats out. So now we're just going to clean the seat up and see what sort of pattern we have on that. Well, that's all it needed. So it didn't need a lot at all, and it's already cleaned up. So that one's good to go. We've got a nice mark all around the seat, and it doesn't widen or narrow, so it has full contact all the way around. I'll give it a little bit more. So it dropped in a lot better. I should go the other way. And I only turned it 90 with the lube, the bearing blue, sorry. So it's a little bit there. But as you can see, we've got pretty much a full seat. It's a little bit there. So I'll give that maybe one more go. And that's pretty much ready to go. So you could see that one sounded a lot better, and it even looks a lot better straight off the... So we haven't lapped this one yet. I probably didn't put enough on it, but it's got a nice, not a bad seat all the way around. I am just going to give it a tiniest little lap just to make sure it's within its specs. I just thought I'd show you this. These all have insert marks in the seats as well. See that little line that runs down the seat? That's where they've stopped. So they use a insert cutter, so a 3-angle seat insert tip. So if you've ever used a lathe or a mill, when you use an insert tip, but the insert cuts all three in one go, but it leaves these insert marks where the pressure, you can just see it there, when they lift off the pressure, it'll leave a mark. So this seat's got one here. Let me turn that around. See that one there? You see it, I'm just catching it in the light if the camera actually focuses. There it is there. That one is there. This is another reason why none of our heads are done with inserts. I don't like the finish. You can also see, which I might try and put a picture up, but see how grainy the seat finish is? There's all lines through the seat. That's because you've got so much surface pressure on that seat and so much surface area you're trying to cut at once. The other thing it can do is leave chatter marks in the actual seats itself. But yeah, that graininess you're seeing is due to the inserts. You can get them better. You know, the other thing is how often are they changing their insert? You know, some really, really good head guys that still use inserts might do it every set of seats, but it starts to get expensive. But these guys might run 10 seats. There you go. Look at that. You can see it's like a record player across that seat. I'll put some pictures up of an actual real seat finish. This isn't that, but this is what you're getting in most of your heads these days when they're using inserts over a single point CNC. That's why all our heads are finished with a single point, and you won't get this. You'll notice I'm pulling it up, flicking it and turning it. That's how it goes in a different spot. Because if I'm just doing that, it's only clocking 90 degrees. So we're picking it up, turning it, dropping it, and doing it again. Picking it up, turning it, dropping it. That way, we've got a better chance of it actually mating the seat concentrically. All right. Especially if you've got a little bit of run out in the valve and a little bit of run out in the seat. As you can see also, it's been ages since I've had to do this, so I'm a little bit rusty because I don't lap valves at all. I'm not a huge fan of it. But for your street stuff, more than fine. You know, we probably get 80 to 100,000 out of these heads, no problem, even with them lapped. But in a race application or extreme environment, you want the best seat possible. That's fine. Yeah, wow. So that mark I was showing you with the insert where it's cut in, and so basically they've cut it this way and it's come in and then they've lifted it out. It's actually rubbed the seat and then it stops right on that mark and then it starts coming back in slowly here. So that actually needs more because this side of the seat is higher than that side of the seat. Another reason why I don't like these cutters inserts. So I'll give that another one. Again, with lapping, guys, less is more. Don't sit there doing it forever. Give it a couple of goes, see how it comes up. If it's too bad, you have to cut the seats. If it doesn't clean up in a couple of goes, don't do it because you'll start concaving the face of the valve and everything. That's it, 15 seconds. You'll hear the paste going off. And I'm only using a fine.
I don't like coarse paste. Beautiful. All right, that's one head down. We'll get on to the next one. And just quickly, guys, I have the valve rack with all our valves marked. Front head 1, front head 2, so they all go back in order, even how they come out. Now, once these are done, we'll wash the heads, wash the valves, and then they can be assembled. All the seats are lapped in. They're not too bad. Now we're going to wash these and we'll put them together, check some spring pressures. If they're right, we'll send it. We've got the new locks, machine locks. We've got the new Viton seals. So these are the minimal that I'd put in these, and a hand lap. If you're not going to do anything, even if you don't tidy them up port-wise, we haven't gone crazy. All we've done is decast. But if you're going to do anything, put a decent set of seals in, because almost all fuels have ethanol in them, and put a decent set of machine locks just for safety's sake.